ANC NEC member and former Minister Dr Malusi Gigaba has stepped aside from his party duties. It comes after he was charged with corruption yesterday related to Transnet's multi-billion rand locomotive procurement program. And for more on this, we are now joined by Professor Ntsikelelo Breakfast, and he joins us now via our video link. And Prof, thank you so much for your time this evening here in SABC News. Let's start off here. The news coming in this evening saying that Dr Malusi Gigaba has taken a decision to step aside from his duties as an ANC member. Your reaction?
Well, first of all, I'm not. I think it stood to a reason that either the ANC was going to apply the policy of step aside, or he was going to step aside by himself, as he has done, because the policy was adopted at the 55th conference of the ANC against the background of the party trying to renew itself or trying to protect its organizational integrity. But of course, others have lamented that the party has tended to apply double standards in terms of implementing the policy that those who are entrenched in positions of authority in the party have tended to basically entrench hegemony of the dominant faction. For instance, a case in point is the issue of Zizi Kodwa. The policy was applied when there was a public outcry. But anyway, I think this is a good thing, though, but for public confidence, but it will take more than this to make the ANC gain credibility, because, for instance, even at the moment, it is in the dock in terms of the commission of Judge Madlanga. It has been embroiled in a whole range of scandals, even though this is commendable, though.
Yeah, and Prof, when it comes to this decision, right, looking into the issues within the ANC, and one would even ask, is this a coincidence? Because we also know that the ANC is going to its NGC soon.
In what way?
When you look at the allegations that he is now facing, one would then also ask the criticisms coming in that Malusi Gigaba gets charged just before the ANC goes to its NGC conference.
Yeah, thank you very much for providing a clarity on that. So I think the charges were laid, if I'm not mistaken, I think last week. Unfortunately, it coincides with what we have explained, which is the upcoming NGC of the ANC. To be honest, I cannot connect dots or link the two because it was just charged of late. So the policy, in theory, says that if you are formally charged, therefore the policy must kick in. But they decided to step aside by taking a decision unilaterally. I presume that the party would have taken the decision even against his will, though.
Yeah, and also looking at some of the responses coming in this evening on Dr. Malusi Gigaba's X account, and looking at some of the reasons that he has given in a Q&A, and he says that does stepping aside affect his parliamentary status, and he then goes on to say that the step aside applies to ANC roles only, and parliamentary processes follow their own rules. So what does this then mean to his parliamentary duties if he stepped aside as an ANC member?
Obviously, it's going to interpret it subjectively, but I think the ANC will have its own interpretation. How do you step aside from your role as a member of parliament, but you don't step aside from your role as a member of the ANC? That will be very symbolic in the sense that it will have a wrong meaning. So I think the ANC will also apply, from my standpoint, that principle even to some of his roles as a member of the ANC, because it will create a scope that the ANC does tolerate serious allegations.
And what do you make, Prof, of the fact that over just the past week, we've seen now 2 members from the ANC who are part of the NEC who have taken this decision to step aside, like you're saying, that they do step aside because in the interest of the party and trying to save the image of the party?
No, I think it's a wonderful thing. I mean, it's a very amazing thing because it does protect the integrity of the party, but also it doesn't mean that the persons who have stepped aside are guilty, because we can't also play the cart before the horse. You have to allow the due process and also apply the principle of the law of natural justice, whereby those people also present their side of the story. But I think it's a good thing, though sometimes the party tends to apply double standards.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, but the point must be made, though, that it will take more than this or these acts for the party to redeem itself.
And looking at some of the double standards you point to, I mean, some of these charges stem from the fact that there are indeed corruption charges. They were also mentioned at the State Capture Commission of Inquiry. At the same time, we do know that there were other members of the ANC who were singled out at the Commission of Inquiry. And of course, that is, one of the deputy SGs of the ANC, and that's Nomvula Mokonyane. We also know that the chairperson of the ANC was also implicated and mentioned in the Zondo Commission, and that's Gwede Mantashe. What do you make of these double standards that we see, that some may even criticize the ANC for, that it may just relate to some within the party and not all?
Yes, I mean, I did point out that, but also others, they become too technical by saying that the policy says that you must be formally charged, and then the step aside principle kicks in. But sometimes, the organization uses a softy approach to other people who are in positions. I mean, for instance, why would the party deploy people to be sworn in who have been mentioned in the report of Judge Zondo? I mean, Judge Zondo did lament to the fact that he was in pain when he had to make those people to become members of parliament. Meaning that they were made to be members of parliament against his will. But the party basically swept those findings under the carpet. So yes, the party has been having eyes in terms of the application of this policy, meaning that it doesn't necessarily take the fight against corruption seriously,
All right, Professor, thank you so much for your time. That's Professor Ntsikelelo Breakfast, their political analyst, just giving us his insight in terms of the developing news coming in this evening. Of course, Dr Malusi Gigaba stepping aside from his duties within the ANC.